Hi, this is John Muir Laws, and I wanted to take you on a book flip of something that I think you're going to find really inspiring for your own nature journaling practice. Something I've been thinking about more and more is the connection between nature as something that we observe and as something that is a part of us and that we feel. This book, A Year in Nature, A Memoir of Solace, by Clare Walker Leslie, is a real inspiration to me. It's going to help you see what's going on in this book if we flip through a few pages. This book takes her through 1 year, takes her through the course of a year, and isn't this delightful? This is just a quick splash of a cardinal showing up in the middle of a storm. Oh, I love that. It's an intimate look into the journal of Clare Walker Leslie, and what you find her doing is sort of bouncing between her internal thoughts and connections and the important things that she sees going around her in nature. As you go through the book, you get a very clear feeling of the seasons. Love this little diagram of the sun going down. This book gives you lots of ideas like, oh, I could do that. Look at this. So those starlings are bursting by. Look at how she's handled that. Look at how simply there's that burst of short-tailed, stocky little birds zipping through the sky. Here is interactions with a little child that she's walking with to go explore in a nature area. One of her favorite places to go is a cemetery near where she lives. Look at this little one. Now a squirrel. Now I'm a hawk. Now I'm a snake. And the turkeys don't quite know what to make of it, like a little question mark there. Whether you're looking at something in nature or there are these little intimate moments that you have with others, if we let ourselves put those down in our journal, it slows us down and allows us to remember them. Look at these natural history moments here. I have a snowy owl envy, but she's noticing not just when the snowy owl shows up what a special thing that is and how it stands out from the landscape, but all the birders who also show up to see that. I also get some ideas of how to record things and feelings in this book. Things like when the sun is coming up, when the sun is going down, and the length of daylight really tells you something important about where you are in the course of the year. And look at this energy here for bright morning sun warming the car. And just this terrific energy in this line. Are you seeing lines like this in the sky when the sun is out? No. But this gives you an idea of just the emotion, the feeling, the energy that you have for experiencing something like that. Here, you see two examples of studies that you could do in your own nature journal. So, noticing waiting winter tree shapes. I love that, waiting winter tree shapes. They're just dormant and they're waiting. And studying those shapes together, this what I call a comparison. When you get sets of similar things on a journal page, you're going to start to notice the subtleties of each one. What makes the black oak different from a sugar maple? And when you put them together on the same page, you are going to be able to notice much more about them. Look at the effect she gets from a little bit of colored pencil there in the journal. It just takes these pen drawings and brings them to the next level. All right. Look at this. The light across my desk is noticeably brighter. That kind of observation and that way of putting it into the journal is not something that would automatically come to me, and I love it. And I read through this book and I go like, oh, I can do that. She's tracking the moon on different days through the book. It's as you go. So here we've ended January. She's slipping into February. This is a diagram that you're going to see showing up again and again and again in this book that sort of shows you where you are in the cycle of the seasons. She ties that here into the Celtic wheel of the year. Studies of owls. Look at how simply, clearly, and directly she finds what's important to her, whether that's wildlife observations, whether it is her own feelings about what's going on, whether it's thoughts or ideas that are important to her. This set of pages here also really inspiring to me. I'm a daddy, I have daughters, and there are these moments like this that show up. Read this. The quiet peace of being with a child watching the sunset. This moment, all that matters for now. Right? If you journal something like this, these moments in your life, here it was 5:10 p.m. That moment is now hers forever. Check this out. I'm going to zoom in on this little picture because it is just a masterpiece. Cold, gray, rainy. You can feel just with pen and look at this incredibly limited palette of colored pencils. I think this is 3 colors of colored pencils. Nope, 4. And so with this limited palette of colored pencils, you get the feeling this is such a gray, rainy day. This gives you permission to be able to do the same sorts of work in your own journal. What can you do with that just limited set of pencils? Whether she's in an urban area or in heading out into a farm where she likes to spend her time, these notes are really, really rich. You can get, this is just notes while on a drive, signs of a season. She's putting in signs of a season just with these little bullet points. Sometimes describing things in sentences, paragraphs, snatches of things, quotes, or bullet points, labels. All of those tricks together, the way she uses words is really deliberate and rich. And as you go through this book, you'll get an idea of ways that you yourself can incorporate those same ideas into your own journal. So here she is looking for signs of spring. Spring's coming. You've now transitioned into March. There's a warming squirrel here. Just to her delight at the humor and the just these wonderful moments. This sort of flattened out squirrel. Is it dead? No, it's just warming itself in the sun. Early blooms. Here is gives you lots of ideas about just with a regular pen and some colored pencils, you can get so much down. This is an interesting one up here. Notice how these ones aren't even colored in. I think that leaving some things colored, some things not. I love being able to see that process, having those together. If this was just that by itself, that would be good. But isn't that better? Here's a little quote. Here are observations. All of that together. So in honor of today, the first day of spring, I go out and in search of glittering beauty. Just for an hour or so. So she's making time in her calendar to match the calendar of the year. And here we see this again. We are now over here. We've kind of come from the shortest day of the year. We have come now to the equinox, and she is going to be exploring from there. You'll see her musing and thoughts about what she's seeing going on with the politics of the country, and how when things are really difficult and challenging, how she again goes to nature again and again to find that quiet place that restores her soul, her faith in what is good, and gives her the strength to continue on. It's a beautiful book. Maps, weather diagrams, lists, sunrises, sunsets. There's so much kind of ecological, place-based thinking on each one of these pages that it makes me want to grab my journal and kind of just take a couple of these ideas and run out and play with them. When it's a full moon night, she shows that. Here we see those diagrams again. It's a beautiful book, but the point isn't that it's a beautiful book. What the book is that it's an honest book. It is a book of mindfulness. It is a book about being present with wherever you are, and it's going to give you suggestions and ideas about how to capture that moment. Clare Walker Leslie doesn't get stuck in being fussy, but she lets herself record what is important, what is significant to her. That inspires me. There's so much energy. So there's also, she gives us a chance to look in at some of the most personal and sensitive moments of her life. This is a page shortly after the death of her sister and one of her greatest mentors, John Busby. And you see her struggling with those experiences and then going into nature and finding this stillness. So when this is happening in your life, we can turn to this. And it's always going to be there for her. It's always going to be there for you. And in this book, we can really see those pieces coming together. You get to go on some of her travels. Here she's heading up to Alaska. And now you're kind of coming around full halfway through the circle. She's heading from June to July. You're into summer. And look at this. You feel the summer. You can feel, you just open up one of the pages of the book and you know what season it is just by looking around. Absolutely delightful. A moment with cows. A moment with cows. I like that. Clare Walker Leslie is one of my earliest and most important inspirations in my process of nature journaling. Her book, Nature Drawing, A Tool for Learning, still has a prominent place beside my desk, and I regularly reference it for ideas and inspiration. And this book is a chance to kind of get into the mind with a more sophisticated, but not pretentious level of experience and thought. What she now brings to her page is so rich. Little eclipse right there. Look at these people sitting out there enjoying the eclipse. Just so much fun. So this book, I'm going to really recommend it to you as something that you can put on your own shelf. Look at this page right here. I'm going to see if we can zoom again. A couple of things I wanted to notice about this that struck me. So one was, she's up in Alaska and she's been invited to a small village to teach in a school there. And she says, wonderful how the teachers invited me out to encourage them for ways of teaching about their local nature, so different from mine. So with a real humility, she steps back and lets the process of nature journaling be the teacher for these students to make the most out of their own their own sense of place, and what they know from time on the land, the wisdom that comes from being in a place. She doesn't presume to have all the answers, but she points the way through the journal for people to be able to access this. And then down here she is. She's terrified of flying. I didn't know that. But she's sitting there afraid in the airplane. And so to handle that, she starts sketching what's just right outside the window of her little plane. And as she does that, the fear goes away and she just gets lost in this tracery of kind of the time of a place. There's little Mount McKinley. Absolutely delightful. You find yourself rolling again through the seasons, now coming into fall colors as the season changes. You really feel that year passing. Now clearly the heart of fall. But it's fun how she goes out, she's going out and looking for little moments that sort of suggest this place right now. And so she's got chipmunks storing food. She's got the woodchucks. They're still out getting as big as they can. The turtles haven't gone into hibernation yet. Each one of these says something specific about where you are in time. It is such a generous look into her mind and her process. Also, I don't know how she does it. She's constantly finding owls. I have owl envy of Clare Walker Leslie. Her sketches very quickly capture the sense of something. Again, no fussiness, but there you are. Thanksgiving comes. This mix of, as the events of the year are swirling, another owl, a saw-whet owl, that is just not fair. As the events of the year swirl around us, this book is an invitation to go out into nature, find that connection through the pages of your journal, and to make more out of those moments. The book is A Year in Nature, A Memoir of Solace by Clare Walker Leslie. I find it really inspiring. And I look at something like this, I come away after sitting down and slowly soaking up the thoughts on each page. I come away with some real ideas of things I can do to continue to develop my own nature journaling process and to bring it to a higher level. Thank you, Clare Walker Leslie. You continue to be a great mentor and a great teacher for all of us. Happy journaling, everybody.